Hello everybody. Before I start today's session, I just want to share with you my own experience. So what happened one day I was very late for my school and that time I reached hurriedly. My English session was going on. Before entering the classroom, I knocked the door and asked ma'am, "Ma'am, can I come in?" Ma'am replied, "Yes, you can come in, but you may not." I got confused. So, hey everyone, my name is Shubhamita, your English mentor, and today our topic is all about modal. So, let's start today's modal marathon. So, hey learners, in today's video session, we will be learning about modal verbs, where you can find out all the necessary terms and conditions about modal verbs. This video can be helpful for the students and as well as for the learners, those who want to learn the speaking and those who are preparing for multiple types of competitive exams. So learners, what is modal verbs? Modal verbs are the finite verbs that actually express the various manners or the actions in a sentence. So modal verbs are often called the auxiliary verbs or sometimes they are called as helping verbs too. Basically, they are having some common features. So in this video, what you will going to learn, let's visit with me. So learners, here is a very important feature of modal verb, that is, they are the helping verbs in a sentence that are actually helping the main verb of a sentence to express their meaning with more clarity. Now here we will discuss the rule one by one, where you can understand about different types of modal verbs and how to use them properly in a sentence. So here, rule number 1. Modals cannot be used in a sentence with isolation. That means they need an extra additional main verb to express their meaning with more clarity. For example, if I say, "I can cut," no, it's a wrong sentence. Instead of that, we can say, "I can drive a car." That is all about. Here the rule number 2. Modal verb always followed by the base form of the verb, and modal verb they do not carry to infinitive. For example, if I say, "You should do study," that is completely wrong. Instead of that, you can write, "You should study." Here is the rule number 3. Modal verbs, they cannot be conjugated. That means they do not change with the persons or the numbers in a sentence. For example, if you say, "He can't drive," that is completely wrong, right? Instead of that, we can say, "He can drive." Here, the rule number 4. In the negative sentences, the modal verbs are used as they are. They do not used as any other auxiliary verb, or they do not need any other auxiliary verb like do. Here the structure they used to follow like subject, then modal verb, then not, then main verb, then the object that can be the optional. For example, "I must not drive in the city." Each of them can be contracted by the way in negative form in a sentence. For example, may not, cannot, might not, would not, etc. For will and shall, the spelling actually changed in the negative form. Will become won't and shall become shan't. In the interrogative types of sentences, the modal verbs are also used as they are. They do not require any kind of "do you" with the interrogative form. Here the structure that we follow, that is modal verb, then subject, then main verb, and in the last the optional object. For example, instead of use do you can play, we can use can you play. Now that's all about the rules of the modal verbs. Now we will move to the next slide. Now we can discuss the meat of the session. That means the 6 different types of situations where we can follow the modal verbs. For example, ability, possibility, permissions, advice, obligation, and hypothetical, which is conditional. Now we have reached to the mid session of this video where we will discuss the types of modals. So there are ultimately 9 types of modals available to us. There are some extras too. In the upcoming time I will discuss them soon. So first I am taking the can. Can expresses the ability. So basically it denotes the present situation. For example, I can swim. Example 2, I can dance. Sometimes can is used for taking permission. For example, can you come with me for the party tonight? Sometimes can used for suggesting something. For example, you can try this dish. It is very good. Next is will, which is used in future. For example, if I get time, I will visit the store today. Next situation, will can be used in promises too. I will see into this matter, or we can say, I will help you in this situation. Next, we will talk about would. So, would is basically conditional or situational. For example, I would go to the store if I had time. Sometimes would is used for suggestion, same as good. Would you have some coffee? And last, would is used for some past habit which I was continuing with in the past. For example, when I was a kid, I would go fishing on every summer, used as conditional purpose. So when we talk about any kind of situation, for example, I would visit the store today if I had time. That time we can use would. Secondly, we can use would in some hypothetical condition, that is totally imaginary. If I own the lottery, I would visit the world. That can be a suitable example to relate. Secondly, we can use would again same as could for the purpose of polite request. Would you like to have some coffee? Right? Okay. And thirdly, would can be used about some past habit. For example, when I was a kid, I would go to fishing on every Monday. Next, we can talk about shall. Shall can be used for offering something. For example, shall we dance? Next, sometimes shall can be used for very strong determination. For example, we shall overcome, and what can be the best example to relate? Next is should. Should is used for advice. For example, you should study hard if you want to pass your examination. Next, should is used for some expectations too. For example, they should be here now. Next is may, which is used for possibility again. It may snow now. Also, may is used as similar as can for taking permission. For example, may I come in? May I sit down? Now there is a thing that we need to remember here, where we will use may and where we will use can. So there is a minor difference between the two. May is more formal than can. So some official manner when you are showing you can use may. Also may denotes the more politeness. Next is might. Might is used for lesser possibility. For example, it might get rain today. Sometimes might is used for suggesting something. You might can try this dress. You might can try this necklace. So here I am suggesting you something. Next we will talk about must. So must is used for necessity. For example, you must complete your homework on time. Secondly, must is used for strong advice. For example, you must follow the traffic rules. And third, must is used for logical conclusion. For example, it must be her phone which she has forgotten on the table. Now we have finished explaining the 9 modal verbs. Now, as I have promised you before, I will take some extra modal verbs here to explain with more clarity so that you can relate whenever you are speaking or whenever you are sharing your knowledge with somebody. So first in our list, that is have to. Have to express some obligation. For example, I have to attend the party. In the second number, we have need to, which is more similar to have to, which explains the necessity. For example, I need to explain the whole situation in front of him. Now I will talk about ought to. Ought to is used for obligations and advisability. Ought to and should to somewhere both are similar. Ought to is more fancy than should do, For example, you can say, you ought to finish your homework by tomorrow. Sometimes we can use two types of modal in a single sentence. For example, you should not have to pay for his mistake. Here we are using two different types of modal on a single sentence. Have to and should not. So it's completely fine. Learners, you have to remember that modals are actually holding the mode of the sentence. So they are very important to express the tone or the expression. So hey friends, I think you liked my video. Thank you for staying with me. If it boosts your knowledge, kindly please press the bell icon and subscribe our channel. तब तक के लिए thank you, शुक्रिया, bye bye.